Hey guys, this is Miss Mo. We are on 10.4. 10.4 is about mean, median, mode, and range. This is about what they learn in 7th, 8th grade, and then they probably are retaught this every year of high school and even in college. Okay, so first, the mean is another word for average or norm. And the first thing we do is we add up all the values to find the total, and then we divide. So if you look at this example, this little mind baby example right here, it looks like we're adding things, and then we divide by how many things there are. Okay, median is the middle if you put all of them in order, smallest to biggest. So if you look at this top right example, these numbers are written smallest to biggest. And it's okay to write repeat. See how 2 is written twice? We're supposed to do that. And then once it's written small to big, you start canceling out a pair at a time. One number from the back, one number from the front. Then you keep going. One number from the back, one number from the front. Then you keep going. One number from the back, one number from the front. And then whatever is left in the middle is the median. And then it says if there are 2 values left in the middle, you find the mean. What? What does that mean? I don't know. Okay, if you have 2 numbers left, so say I knocked them out, and inside this star there were 2 numbers. That means you add, then divide by 2 to get what's in between those. Okay, mode means what you see the most. And there can be more than one mode. So if you look at this list of numbers, I see 2 2s and 2 5s. So that's the mode. If I would have had let's say 3 8s, then the mode would just be 8. So the mode is the number that occurs the most amount of times. But with this example they gave you, 2 and 5 occur the same amount of times. The most amount of times, but they're the same. So that's why there were 2 modes. But say something occurred 3 times, like 2 more 8s, then the mode would just be 8. Because that's definitely more than 2 times. That 8 would be 3 times. Okay. The range is you list them smallest to highest, and then you find the lowest and the highest, and you minus them. Okay, let's do this first example. It says calculate the mean, the median, and the mode for each of the following data. Well, first I need to put it in order, because if I don't put it in order, your range will be wrong and your median will be wrong. So we have to put it in order. Okay, what's the smallest number? 4. Then 5. Looks like 7. 3 8s. A 9 and a 12. Let me count. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yep, I did it. Okay, so now the mean is you add them all up, and then we divide by however many numbers were in the list. How many numbers were in the list? I think there were 8. Yep. Okay, well, let's go ahead and add this stuff up. We're going to have 4 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 12 plus 5. 61. Okay. Then divide by 8. Okay, let's see here. Let me maybe add this again, because maybe I was wrong. Nope, I was right. Okay, so now let's divide 61 divided by 8. And that's definitely 7 point something. 625. And if they asked for the 100 spot, that would mean I need 7.6 and then one more number. Well, since 2 is in the 100 spot, we look at the digit to the right of it. We look at the number to the right of it. And if it's 4 or less, we let the 2 rest. If it's 5 or more, we up the score. So this 5 is 5 or more. So we're going to up that 2 to a 3. Okay, if they wanted it rounded to the 10 spot, I would definitely say 7 point something. Well, let's see what that something would be. I need to draw. Okay, this is the 10 spot. This 6. And the number to the right of it is at 4 or less or 5 or more. It's 4 or less. So we're going to let it rest. Let the 6 rest. Yeah. Okay. Exciting. Yeah. If they asked for something called an integer, you're just going to type in this fraction. Alright, let's keep going. The next example says if 3 students scored an 80 on a test. Oh gosh, let me write this down. So we got 3 okay, we got 3 80s. Okay, what else do we got? And 3 other students scored an 87. So that's an 87, 87, 87. It says find the mean, median, mode. Okay, well, the mean is we got to add them up. And then we divide by the total. Well, we were talking about 3 kids and another 3 kids. That's 6 total. So now let's add it up. And we get 501. Okay, there we go. 501. And we're dividing by 6. And this becomes 83.5. And it just stops. There's no other decimals. I just figured out that I didn't finish this problem. Oh, well, oh gosh. Okay, I never finished this top problem. Idiot. Okay, let me finish this top problem. So on this problem I just did, I didn't finish it. I'm such a moron. Okay. Okay, so my mean was 61 over 8, or 7.63, or 7.6, depending on whatever your homework asks you to round to. Then it says something about the median. Okay, well, median means if you start crossing them out, 1 from the back, 1 from the front, 1 from the back, 1 from the front, 1 from the back, 1 from the front. Oh no, it looks like we have 2 left. So darn, when there's 2 left, that's where you have to add them and divide by 2. So let's see, that'll be, what's left in the middle? 8 and an 8. 8 plus 8 divided by 2. That's 16 over 2, and that's just 8. Woo! So the median is 8. Okay, let's look at the mode. The mode is this thing that is written the most. Okay, well, let's look at the list. What's written the most? Definitely those 8s. There's a ton of them. Okay, now let's look for mean, median, mode. Oh, that's it. That's all we had to find. Okay, so the average was not 8. The average was close to 7. Or the mean was close to 7. And then the median, which is the halfway mark, if you list them, is 8. And the most occurring number is 8. Okay, let's go back to this problem. Okay, let's see. It says, what's the mean? Well, we just found it, 83.5. Okay, it says, what's the median? Okay, Well, for median, that's where you start crossing them out. One from the back, one from the front. One from the back, one from the front. One from the back. Oh, man. Okay, when I go to cross out that last one from the back and one from the front, there aren't enough, and there's just 2 left over. Darn. So what happens when there's 2 left over? We have to add and divide by 2. So 80 plus 87 divided by 2. I think that makes 167 divided by 2. And that's 83.5. Yay! So that's the median. Okay, now it says the mode. Well, the mode is the most occurring number. And if a number occurs the same amount of times, the most, then we have to include both those numbers. So how many times did the 80 happen? 3. That's definitely the most occurring. Yeah. So 80. How many times did 87 occur? Another 3. Oh, okay, so that means that 87 and 80 are the mode. Now, if 87 would have been written 4 times, that would be the mode, and 80 would be gone. But both of these numbers occurred the same amount of times, which was the most amount of times. So that's why they're both a mode. Okay, let's look at part B. Part B says the mean scores on a set of 16 tests is 75. Okay, what is the sum of all the test scores? Well, it's kind of like we're looking at this little random formula I've been using, that the mean is adding everything up over 6. Well, they tell us that the mean is 75. So instead of that word mean, I'm going to put 75. Okay? Then they tell us that there's 16 tests. So that's the number we divide by. And then it's asking for what is the sum? Well, the sum is the same thing as adding up a bunch of numbers. That's what sum means. So we don't know what the adding up of all the numbers is. So I'll just write sum. Okay. So to figure out this sum, we just have to ask ourselves, what's the opposite? We're going to do a little bit of algebra here. What's the opposite of dividing by 16? The opposite is multiplying by 16. And on the right, next to the word sum, she cancels. On the left, 16 times 75 is 1200. Hey, that's the sum. Easy peasy. So you take those two numbers they give you, and whatever comes after the word is, like 75, that goes in place of the word mean. However many tests you're talking about, that's the number that goes on the bottom. Alright, let's keep going. This says the following table gives the annual salaries of 40 dancers in a certain troupe. That means like the New York City Ballet. If there's 40 dancers in a group, they're called the troupe. It's okay. Part A says find the mean annual salary for the troupe. Okay, so to find the mean, we have to add everything up. Okay? But the thing is, these dancers have different salaries. So, we're going to have to add up all these salaries. But there's a different amount of dancers who have these salaries. So this is where it gets kind of tricky. We're going to say, I'm not going to write it all out. I'm going to show you a shortcut. But we're going to say this 18,000 times 1, because there was one dancer who made that salary, plus 22,000. How many dancers made that salary? Number of dancers, 4. Plus 26,000, you get the point? Yeah. Times 2. And then we keep going and going and going. I think I'm just going to write what I get down here. These are little multiply x's. And I think I'm just going to write down what we get and then add them slowly like that. So if you have a big old calculator, those graphing ones, or if you have a scientific calculator where you can type the parentheses, you can go ahead and type this bad boy in all the way to the end, 140,000 times 3. But I have just this thing, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so 18,000 times 1 is 18 with 1,000. 22,000 times 4 is 88 with some thousand. 26,000 times 2 is 52 with some thousand. Then 72 with some thousand. Okay, if you're freaking out about how I'm getting these numbers, I'm multiplying the salary times the number of dancers. So 38 times 17 is, oh my gosh, 646,000. And that's not the salary of one dancer, that's the total salary for 17 dancers. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, 52,000, that would be 156,000 when you multiply it by 3. 75 times 4, 150, is 300,000. And 140 times 3 is 420,000. Okay, so now to find the mean, we're going to add up all these numbers and divide by the total number of dancers. So I need to add up all these salaries because this represents one salary, then 4 more salaries, then 2 more salaries, 2 more, 17 more salaries, 4. Okay, you get the point. So I need to add all these up. And then I also need to add up all the number of dancers. Okay, so let's get busy. Okay, so the dancers is 40, and that should match the information they give you about at the very beginning about the number of dancers. If I added and I got it wrong, then I did something wrong. All right, let's add these numbers. I think I'm just going to add the numbers to the left of the commas. And then at the very end, tack on some zeros. Okay, so I'm just going to keep these zeros here because when they add, nothing happens. And then I think I'm just going to add the numbers to the left of the comma. Shortcut. Okay, so we get 1928, and it looks like there's a comma after that 1. Okay, so to find the mean, we're going to add all this stuff up and divide by the 40 because that's the total amount of dancers. So when I add all this junk up, I get 1,928,000, and now we got to divide it by 40.